time since 1935 with back-to-back shutouts. So impressive performance by Corey Batoon and the rest of his staff and players. Congratulations, Brady Cook passed Blaine Gabbert for number 6 all-time in Mizzou passing. Theo Weiss had a career night in receptions and receiving yards, so very congratulations to them. Luther Burden has been dealing with the illness all week after he scored his touchdown. Just didn't feel good. We didn't feel like it was worth putting him back in the game, so head that question off right there.
The Kansas City Royals.
Slow roller to third. It will roll and skate fair. And Salvi has an RBI infield single to give the Royals a 2-0 lead.
Trevor Larnach at the plate.
Slice to left. Long run, Melendez, he's got it. And the Royals complete the sweep and finish the homestand at 4-2.
Another rough road trip. The Twins are limping home. They have dropped 14 of their last 20.
And for the second time in the series, the Royals beat Minnesota by way of a shutout. And now their lead over the Twins is 2.5 games for second place in the Central and for the second wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, certainly not how we would have drawn it up. But again, you know, especially the start of that losing streak was we're in every single one of those games or have a lead late in those games. So it's not like we imploded, right? We lost to some good teams and some good pitching. And you got to credit the other team, too, because they're out there trying to beat us as much as we're trying to beat them. And again, I don't know how many teams go through a season without a sustained losing streak like we just had, but I would say it's far less than the majority.
Rams, Lions. To tie the game from 32 yards. And he does. 20-20 with 17 seconds. First and goal from the one. It is Montgomery. It is a Detroit Lion overtime win.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's Monday, September 9th, 2024. Stephen St. John, Todd Leabo, Jake Gutierrez, and you. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. That was one hell of an intro, packed with highlights of everything that happened over the past couple of days. And let me tell you, it was a lot. A lot of stuff packed in to the last few days. We'll try to hit all of it. Oh, hi, Leabo.
Hey, Labo's in.
Leabo in studio.
I made it.
That's what my rundown says. And I read everything because I'm Anchorman. I'm Ron Burgundy. It says, show open, Leabo in studio.
At your service.
When did you get here, Leabo?
Been here 45 minutes or so.
Leabo Sweeney.
Leabo. Do you take transfers, Leabo?
No.
Okay. Well, then you're going to fail.
Bad philosophy.
Trouble.
We have Leabo in studio, or Leabo, whatever. And then at 7:05, we'll have a smart-ass Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride in here.
Mm-hmm.
I like his sense of humor.
Yes.
But I can't read him. We'll see if you can. You've wrecked into his car. You know his emotions. Also, we're going to talk to Pete Sweeney, Arrowhead Pride. We'll talk Chiefs. Also talk some NFL.
Oh, yeah.
There's some really interesting
yesterday.
games yesterday.
A lot of storylines.
Catherine Tappan, who joins us throughout the football season. Really interested to talk to her. She was part of the broadcast crew for Colorado and Nebraska on Saturday night on Fox. And so I just want to ask her, I mean, first of all, that atmosphere was great. And you get a chance to talk to Matt Rule, Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders leaving the field before the game's over because he's had it.
Dedicated team.
Shedeur Sanders throwing teammates under the bus. And they were asking him
The team's going
about
places.
About Baby Mahomes and how he played. And, you know, what did he say? He goes, did he get touched? Did he get touched? You know, insinuating, well, his offensive line blocked for him, not for me.
Yeah.
And then when he was asked about that horrific pick six, which when you look at that, you're thinking from the moment he was going to release the football, like, hey, don't throw that. Don't throw that. Oh, how did he do it?
Sure, someone else's
Pick
fault.
six. And then, of course, he said rookie mistake. Well, he's not a rookie, but the freshman wide receiver's a rookie. And so that seems like he's blaming the
Pick six
receiver.
early on, how much do you think that impacted the rest of the game?
A lot. It was just, a rookie mistake, honestly. That's what it was. So it's small things like that kind of like things that just can't happen, like truthfully. But stuff happens, so we just got to bounce back from it and learn from that situation and just be ready for it.
Leave the field early, and then we'll be fine. Whatever. It's
The thing is, it is locked and loaded and rolling now.
I said this. I didn't predict any other games for Colorado, but I said that K-State's going to light them up, and I thought KU would light them up. I still think KU will, but KU, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I got to go in order. My mind right now is just like flowing with all these different things, so I got to keep it straight. And so we'll talk
Scott
to
Carroll.
Catherine Tappan about that because she was there. And then Scott Carroll will talk to us about the Royals.
Red Hot Royals.
Who now they have not lost since we were on the air last. They have won 4 in a row, so they are erasing that 7-game losing streak, and they got a win against Cleveland, and they got 3 wins in a row against Minnesota. And now this sets up, look, this could be a disaster. They could go out there and get swept. Hopefully they can go out there and win the series. But look, for anyone of our age, I'm 51. How old are you?
5'4".
Older than me. How old are you, Jake?
4-4.
Young and dumb. Here's the deal.
Full of.
You think back to your childhood. You were a little older than me, so you were more cognizant of it. But you know what? I was one of those weird kids at 4 and 5 years old. I'm reading the sports page. I'm reciting stats. Steve will stand up and read all the batting averages, in front of the family. Not, take a sip of beer.
Song and dance.
No, this is my grandson. Whatever. And so those are my first memories of
The
being
Yankees,
a
Royals
sports
mean
fan.
something.
The Royals captivating this town, George Brett being the hero, and the Yankees being the villain. And the playoff losses in 76, 77, and 78, just the unbelievable heartbreak of those losses. And then the elation of watching George Brett hit that 3-run home run off of Goose Gossage in Yankee Stadium in Game 3 of the ALCS in 1980, and finally getting over that hump and beating the Yankees, and watching my members of my family cry because it was such a big deal. And so that's ingrained. That's tattooed on us. That's part of our fabric. That's part of who we are as sports fans if we're that age.
Mm-hmm.
You hate the Yankees. You remember that. There's something, if you're younger, you weren't there, you don't get it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's something, but the Yankees are the Yankees, right? That's still the evil empire.
Even though they don't actually win things
right,
and all that,
but it's still the Yankees.
Yes.
And they got, this year they've got
6
the one guy.
MVPs.
They've got the one guy that is going to finish ahead of the MVP in the MVP race, ahead of Bobby Wood Jr. That's going to be Aaron Judge. I don't hate Aaron Judge. I really like Aaron Judge a lot. For a long time, he was on my rotisserie team for the time he was in the minors. He helped me do a couple of championships. I've enjoyed watching him. I think he conducts himself like a professional on and off the field. He's a joy to watch, and he's a tremendous baseball player. Okay? So I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But to have on September 9th a huge series with, and would I like it to be here? Yes. But it adds even more to it that it's in Yankee Stadium. Royals at Yankees in the second week of September, while the Royals are chasing a playoff spot and the Yankees are a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Were the Yankees a playoff team the last time the Royals were? In
No.
14 and 15.
No.
Okay? And so you tell me, when's the last time the Royals would have played the Yankees in a September series or any kind of series in the second half where both teams were headed to the playoffs, perhaps.
If you go look at the schedule in '85, the Yankees came right down to the wire and didn't make the playoffs.
Okay, so
we're talking 40 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yes.
Okay, a long time. And when's the last time both teams made the playoffs?
1980.
Okay.
Right.
And so that's what we're talking about here. And, I mean, unless something crazy happens, both teams are going to make the playoffs. And so you have tonight, and I know this is football, and I get it. But the Royals have won 4 in a row, and the Royals still demand our attention. And if you're going to go on the road and play the New York Yankees in a huge series that hopefully will see the Royals win a game or 2, or hell, maybe 3, I don't care, I'll get greedy, and to help them get a playoff spot, I'm watching. So tonight, 6:05, Royals at Yankees, Brady Singer against Carlos Rodon. All right, then, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
I have, I kind of think in my head when I just think this thing through mathematically and all that, all the Royals really need to do in New York is just like win a game. You don't want to get swept here, but get greedy.
Win 2.
I mean, go win a couple of games.
I mean, listen
up
to these
there.
pitching matchups. Listen, I mean, first of all, Brady Singer and Carlos Rodon, excellent, right? Game 2, Seth Lugo against Marcus Stroman. And let me tell you something. Marcus Stroman was a pitcher that the Royals chased.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Royals made a significant offer to Marcus Stroman. Okay, when I was told before the season the different pitchers that they chased, Marcus Stroman was one of the first guys they contacted. And if Marcus Stroman said yes, then maybe there's a chance that Lugo never comes here.
Mm-hmm.
There were guys that they contacted before they got to Lugo and Waka. But guess what? Sometimes some of the best trades are the ones you don't make, and sometimes some of the best signings are the ones you don't make. Would you rather have Lucas Giolito and Marcus Stroman or Waka and Lugo?
Take what the Royals have.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
But it could have ended up a different way. So, but for me, that takes on an even greater meaning, that matchup, because it could have been Stroman in a Royals uniform. He decided not to come here. Seth Lugo wanted to come here, and Lugo and Stroman will face off on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, Cole Reagan's stud, 200-plus strikeouts, stud, against Gill, stud. I mean, 3 great pitching matchups. Royals-Yankees, Yankee Stadium, playoffs on the line. Let's go.
There's only 18 games left for the Royals. They've got these last 3 are the ones that will end that 20-game chunk of games we were talking about. And if you go out there, and they had a horrible losing streak in the middle of this, but they have righted the ship. These were very important games this weekend.
Righted the what?
The ship.
Oh.
And now, listen, the thing you don't like about the Yankees, when they played the Yankees early in the year, the Alec Marsh was dominant, and they came back and won that game on New Day with SSJ, Day at the K, but they were not competitive in the first 2 games of that series, really. So I want to see a more competitive series. And like I said, it doesn't really matter here if they get swept even because of the other work they did. But if you're going to be in the postseason, you're going to play against a team of this caliber. So you want to measure better than you did last time around against these guys. So that's why this is important. The Twins get to play the Angels this week. The Guardians get to play the White Sox. I think it's Red Sox and Orioles, so those are big games because it's not just who you're playing. You got a scoreboard watch now. And the scoreboard was great this weekend for the Royals because they won their games. It meant they were beating a team that they were chasing, and they jumped in front of them. And then the devastating loss yesterday for the Red Sox. They are now like 3 teams behind.
I'm not worried about the wild card right now. They're back
in the division.
They're back in the race for the division. Cleveland 81-62, Royals 79-65, 2.5 games behind Cleveland.
Let's go White Sox.
What did I tell you? My threshold is 3 games. If they're more than 3 games out, I'm talking wild card. If they're less than 3 games or less, I'm talking division. 2.5 games out, I'm talking division. They're 2.5 games ahead of Minnesota now for second place. When you look at the wild card, they're 3 games behind Baltimore for the number 1 wild card spot, 2.5 games ahead of Minnesota for that 3rd wild card spot. And right now, Boston has fallen behind Detroit and Seattle.
Yeah.
They have a 6-game lead over Detroit and Seattle, so they're 6 games clear for a playoff spot. Go Royals, beat the Yankees. I'll be watching. You'll be watching.
Guardians at
Find
White
a way
Sox
to watch
for the next 3 games. And the Guardians are 5-5 against the White Sox somehow this year. So if the White Sox could find a way to win a game or 2, that would be outstanding.
Lock in.
But I'm excited. This is fun that we have this going right now.
Great time to be a Royals baseball fan. Now, and we'll get to the NFL. We just got to go in order, people. College football. That was a wild weekend. Kansas State, very lucky. I don't want to say lucky.
Kansas State did what Kansas State does.
They're fortunate.
They escaped
Tulane
with a victory.
win games like this. You'll look up and you'll say, how did they come back in the game? Well, they played smart. They got a turnover. They did this. They did that. And, they came back and won at Tulane. Credit them. Dozens of wins like that for Kansas State over the last couple of decades.
They were helped out.
Well, they get helped out, but they take advantage of situations, and they're gritty, and they're tough.
Tulane had an awful pass interference call against them on the goal line.
Terrible.
Awful.
Terrible.
That erased the game-time touchdown.
Right. Yes.
They still won.
They
found a way to win.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Avery Johnson, you can see the talent there.
Not quite there yet.
But the rush, I mean, give this kid some time before you anoint him Big 12 Player of the Year. Or some of the wild things we were hearing before the season.
This is our world we live in now. Everyone's going to be the
I understand
it's insane.
Okay.
The things we put on these kids.
And he might get there, but there's a process to it.
There's a
now,
process.
Kansas State beats Tulane 34-27. Kansas didn't find a way to win. Kansas found a way to lose. And I don't know if Illinois, if this is going to, later on we look, it's a 7 or 8 win Illinois team. I don't think it will be.
I don't either.
I don't think when I look at Illinois, I don't think they're very good. They might be. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? It's still too early to tell. But my big takeaway from that game, what would make me nervous if I was a Kansas fan, oh boy, is this Jaylen Daniels now?
Bad night.
I mean, was this just a bad night from Jaylen Daniels, or is he just not as good as what he was before the back issues, and is he not as good as we thought? That would make me nervous.
Time's going to tell.
That was a really bad night.
Jaylen Daniels has never been healthy enough to give you really a full season to see what he is. And you hope the kid's healthy enough all year long to show what he is. But this stretch where they've gotten better, it hasn't been all Jaylen Daniels wins to do it. They've gotten a lot of really good players to make a lot of plays. He played last year was Kansas' best season since when? I don't know, 2008?
Yeah.
And he only played in 3 games.
I think the further we get away from it, and I had this conversation with Lance Leipold a couple of weeks ago, the further we get away from it, I think people are going to appreciate more how good Jason Bean was.
Yeah.
Jason Bean was an incredible backup.
He wasn't just a good backup. He wasn't just a good fill. He was a really good quarterback.
Yes.
Just flat out a really good quarterback.
I mean, I had that thought on Saturdays. Like,
don't copy from me.
I miss Jason Bean.
The other thing, and we'll talk to Lance Leipold about this tomorrow at 6:30, is if you look at the box score, it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth because it feels like Kansas could have just ran the ball at will on Illinois, and they chose to throw the ball. They got a little bit pass happy, and maybe they can get out of there if they just would have ran the ball more. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a fair criticism of the game. They are working their way through.
They left a lot of meat on the bone there.
Yeah.
They're 2 games into a new offensive coordinator and all that. These things, it takes a while to get this stuff done. In college football, you don't have 17 games to kind of work it all out.
You're the Kansas guy in this group.
Right.
Were you like run the ball?
Yes.
Was that ever said out of your mouth?
At the television, especially on the second.
Gotta scream. You
second
gotta raise
to
your
last
voice to the TV.
Second of the last possession that they had, it's like They first down, 7-yard gain, and then 2nd and 3 throw, 3rd and 3 throw, punt. And it's like I'm screaming. It's like they were running the ball at will, Neal and Highshaw. I mean, it was I don't know, very frustrating because you saw maybe it was just a bad night, but help the kid out. You saw at that point Jaylen Daniels.
And if it is just a bad night, run the ball more.
Right.
Because you're running the ball effectively.
You got to help him out.
Okay, so Kansas loses, and they fall out of the top 25. They lose to Illinois 23-17. And all I can do is guess. But I can't tell you if this is a bad loss because if the season goes on and Illinois wins 7 or 8 games, like, okay, it was all right.
Yeah,
now, if they go on and they're a 3 or 4
last year,
win
they beat
team,
Illinois so easily at home.
But Illinois is different now.
Illinois is different.
Also, if Kansas learns from this and you see them improve and move on, and this is a big growing moment for them, then it was worth the loss.
We're also talking about resumes, though.
Absolutely.
I think the best player on Kansas for the past 2 or 3 years has been Devin Neal. So, to your point, run the ball.
All right, stop taking away from my Missouri time.
How many carries did Devin Neal have?
14
carries, 100 yards?
14. He was over 7 yards a clip.
I'm in a rhythm right now.
You want
I'm
more Missouri?
I'm delivering the football right now. I'm in a rhythm.
It's time
Don't
for you.
Don't upset my rhythm. You just committed a penalty.
Let's go with Missouri right here.
Now we're off schedule.
Cover this number late. Let's go.
Missouri, for the second week in a row, has covered late. And they very easily could have taken a knee. But they know there's many a faithful Mizzou bettor out there saying, you know what? Just get in the end zone and cover. Back-to-back covers. You had Dave Portnoy tweeting about him. Just absolute cover warriors, knowing knowing the situation and trying to reward the Mizzou faithful who have placed their hard-earned money on them.
Late.
Right?
Late.
Big touchdown late. 38-0. Okay, were they sharp offensively? No. They still have been unable to hook up on big plays that just to tick off. Luther Burden had a touchdown where he ran over a guy and lowered his shoulder, and then later on, before halftime, there was a tweet from the Mizzou Radio Network, and Chris Trevino had said that he left the field early, and a lot of people didn't see it. And I'm thinking, because right when he lowered his shoulder, he could have just outran the guy, but he chose to stop and just run him over. And I like that, but I'm like, don't do that. No, don't you do that. Stop that.
Stop it.
And so then when he was walking off, when I heard he's walking off the field early to go into the training room, I'm like, oh, did he do something to his shoulder? And then he never came out for halftime, but then the ESPN Plus broadcast crew that I was watching said, we've just been notified by the University of Missouri that Luther Burden likely will not return to the game due to illness. That's okay, there we go. He's illness. And then that was verified by the people in the press box. So at that point, that was the most important story. How is Luther Burden? Is he all right? Okay. Because it looks like Brett Norfleet, the very gifted tight end, according to Gabe DeArmond for PowerMizzou.com, is still going to be out a couple of more weeks. It won't be back for Boston College. So Mizzou did what they had to do. They ran the ball effectively. Brady Cook with an absolute highlight reel, 31-yard touchdown where he dove into the end zone. And I said, don't do that. And he landed on his head, which led to a tremendous Art But Make It Sports tweet of him on his head. Do you like that Twitter account?
I do love that.
Well, look at that one
of
Brady Cook. It's very good.
It's beautiful.
And so they win 38-0. But here's the deal. I don't care who you're playing. Murray State, Buffalo, great. They haven't given up a point yet this year. They've only given up a handful of snaps on their side of the field. And it's not
Did
like...
they give up maybe one field goal attempt? Have they even given up a field goal attempt?
I'll look through it. I don't
think there might have
maybe
been
one.
Yeah. I mean, it's dominant.
But it's just been it's been unbelievable. Now, you must consider the level of opposition. But again, I don't care. If you're in practice and they didn't give up a touchdown to Ohio State in the last bowl game, so it's been 3 games in a row where they haven't given up a touchdown. It's the first time, as you heard Eli Drinkwitz say this, since 1935 that they've had back-to-back shutouts. In 1935, Who were the back-to-back shutouts against? You see that? I texted you last night. Did you read it?
No, I was.
Okay, good. Then who guess the schools?
I would guess it would be like, is this one of those like Wyoming things?
2
or
schools
YMCA?
within the state of Missouri.
SEMO? Lincoln
No.
University?
No.
Wash U?
No.
Who?
Central Missouri
Ah.
and William Jewell.
Bill Jewell.
Shut them out in 1935.
You won't come down here anymore.
Shut them down in 1935. And so you had all these new pieces with the death row defense. You have a new defensive coordinator in Corey Batoon. Very talented, and also replacing 2 NFL corners in Ennis Rakestraw, who we were watching on Sunday Night Football last night, and Chris Abrams-Drain, replacing a defensive lineman that went in the first round, replacing an NFL linebacker, all these players, right? And so they had a lot to replace. Now, the real big first test comes this weekend against Boston College.
Looks like a better
who's
game.
number
than it did
24
before.
in the nation. But the headline, and we'll talk to Brady Cook today at 9:30. And we'll talk to him about that run, about landing on his head. We'll talk to him about trying to make bigger plays with the passing game. We'll talk to him about how good this defense has been. He faced him every day in camp. He practices against his team. This is no surprise to him. But, man, let me tell you, Todd, what is this setup coming up this weekend? Friday night in a non-con game, even though both teams are now in the same conference, number 20 Arizona at number 14 Kansas State on Fox.
You want to give you a
Primetime.
stat? What team in all of college football has the longest winning streak right now?
I don't know who.
Arizona.
Okay.
They have the longest winning streak of any team in college football.
At number 20 Arizona at number 14 Kansas State on Friday night. On Friday night, rematch of the bowl game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas against a better UNLV team.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you just saw Oklahoma play Houston.
Yes. I had to watch it.
Did Oklahoma destroy them?
No.
Okay.
They shouldn't have won.
UNLV hammered Houston.
Hammered them. 27-7
Houston.
at Houston. And then they played some nobody this week and scored 72 points.
Oklahoma had their hands full against Houston.
Yeah,
but
more
whatever
than
that
that.
means, but still.
Should have lost.
UNLV looks to be a better team. This is not going to be an easy bounce-back game for Kansas.
No,
and
this is a tough deal.
Children's mercy.
Yes.
Okay? On Friday night.
Right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
There. And then on Saturday at 11:45 a.m. on SEC Network, number 24 Boston College at number 6 Missouri. Wow. We get thrown. And then on Sunday, Chiefs and Bengals.
You heard of it?
Football Friday, football Saturday, football Sunday. Boom, boom, boom. Big game, big game, big game, big game. Nothing but big games.
Big games
and
only.
And the Royals right now at the Yankees with the playoffs on the line. And it'll continue. It'll happen. Everything's happening all around us.
It's too much.
It's not too much.
It's not enough.
I can consume all of it. I've got an appetite for it. Okay?
Gorge yourself.
I am. It's a horn of plenty. Are you ready? I got it all.
A cornucopia.
Burying my face in it. Right? Like Champ Khan. I'll put barbecue sauce. If you look, this is what we do. If we don't love this right now, I don't like what do I got?
What are you doing
I can't
here?
tell you.
What are you doing here
if
you
you're
don't
a
love
sports
this?
fan and you're like, I don't know. I'm just not that excited. I don't know what to tell you.
We live through.
This is what we've been waiting for our whole lives.
The desert of, May
it's hitting on
to
all
get here.
cylinders.
It's all here now.
Now I could be super pissed off come Monday.
Oh, it could be the worst.
I could be super pissed off. But right now I'm not. Right now I'm living a dream.
It's beautiful.
I'd like to put some barbecue sauce on that button.
That's exactly right. That's exactly how I feel about this smorgasbord of sporting events.
And you can't even wait
over the
till
next
Friday
because
it starts.
No.
It's on right now.
It's 6 o'clock tonight. Royals at Yankees. I'll have sauce dripping down my chin. I love it so much. We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I'd like to put some barbecue sauce on that button.
Oh, stop it! Welcome back to the show. By the way, hey, we were planning on doing a charity celebrity bartending event tonight at Johnny's Tavern. That's been postponed until next couple of weeks. Some scheduling conflicts. And so I will be doing that down at Johnny's in Parkville, just not tonight, and I'll let everyone know when that's going to happen.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, Missouri's number 6.
Before we get to the actual nitty-gritty of the National Football League, what is this NFL Super Bowl halftime show going to look like?
Kendrick Lamar.
But how does –
What do you mean?
I like Kendrick Lamar, but is he just going to go out there and just crush
Drake. The whole
like
halftime
12
show
minutes?
is going to be about –
Is that what's going to happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the biggest
Putting
world
the
stage.
finishing touches on the attack on Drake. Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
With the
why not?
flamethrower, he's going to torch him.
He's going to torch the whole thing?
He's going to burn it
This
down.
is elevated, man.
I love it.
This is elevated.
Why not?
I don't
Holy
like Drake.
smokes.
So,
Oh, my God. Anyway, that's going to be wild. I don't know how they'll work that out.
of the NFL,
Who was your favorite awful quarterback performance yesterday?
Caleb Williams.
Joe Burrow.
Deshaun Watson? I mean, there's so many to choose from.
Oh, Joe Burrow's my favorite by
Oh.
far.
I don't know. Bo Nix was pretty fun.
Bo Nix?
Bo Nix
Yeah, but
was
he's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Rookies are expected.
Joe Burrow-
Burrow's supposed to be the
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
he's-
Well, they were playing the Patriots. Really good team.
That's good defense. They traded away their best defensive player. In the
So you're
offseason.
telling me sometimes with some quarterbacks, maybe the weapons matter?
Oh, I've look.
Yeah, it does matter.
Did you
Todd.
like Joe Mixon is gone from there?
Oh, and he was
He
awesome
looked
yesterday.
rejuvenated.
Oh god, he was running
T.
angry.
Higgins didn't play because of a hamstring.
And Jamar Chase
has
is
been holding. He hasn't been practicing.
has been practicing. Well,
Um,
that was a turd in the punch bowl there
Oh
for the
man,
Bengals.
I felt bad.
the
for
Coming
him.
to town here.
Iron
the
Eagle calling
Steelers
that game.
and Falcons were. These are two teams the Chiefs will play.
Oh.
That was a matchup. Looks like bad quarterbacks.
Oh my gosh!
How long before Penix is starting?
How long before they regret paying that money to Kirk
Well,
Cousins?
they already do.
Yesterday is when they.
They already but he set 3 years of it, right?
Yes, 3 years.
Guaranteed,
3 years,
basically.
a lot of money.
Ugh.
Dude, the Cardinals gave the Bills all they could handle, but the Bills came back and won.
Josh Allen I think this is probably the year he gets an injury that's going to keep him out for a couple of games. I love the way he plays, but it is just not sustainable.
It might be.
It might be.
It
but
might be. He's a different dude.
He is
man.
different, but it hurts the wrong hand sometimes, like he hurt his left
He did
hand
hurt
yesterday.
his non-throwing hand.
What a
Had
tough
X-rays.
dude, though, man.
Joe Burrow, 21 of 29, 164 yards, no touchdowns,
Big numbers.
Whoops.
no interceptions,
Clean.
no win.
Yeah. So who had on their bingo card the Steelers at the top of that division after Week 1? The other 3 teams lost.
Well, especially with the Bengals playing at home. I mean, I thought the Browns. If you're eggs, they need to
Bye,
stop.
Browns.
You just can't play Deshaun Watson. But they don't have really good options behind him. They still have 4 quarterbacks on that roster.
I don't know.
What are they doing as a franchise?
Who knows?
Jameson Winston's their backup, right?
Yeah. But they also have
Jameis.
the DTR, whatever. And they played 4 or 5 guys last year.
Texans and the Colts were a fun game.
That was a fun game. I'll tell you what,
was
I'm not a
great.
believer. I wasn't in Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
He made some throws yesterday.
Yeah.
He is a tough kid, but the Texans just have more stuff. They have really good wide receivers. I think Mixon's a difference maker for him. C.J. Stroud is a player.
Diggs
and
looked
I'd
good,
say
yeah.
you watch that game, all these coaches now, I think Andy Reid needs to get a little more of this. Fourth
You know
and
what?
2, let's go.
I don't
Let's
think
just
Andy
go.
Reid needs to get a little more of anything.
I wouldn't mind a little more aggressiveness
I think
out of the
Andy
Chiefs.
Reid's doing
Did
just
you
fine.
did you
I'm
like
not.
them punting the other night?
No, I didn't like that.
Okay,
I didn't like
that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about he needs to
That
change his
irritated
life.
me when it was 4th and 5 at the
Right.
40 and they punted, but
you,
whatever.
You need to do more of that.
I'm not, I'm
but
okay.
you're seeing it around the league
good.
now.
All over.
You're
All
seeing it
over.
everywhere.
All
There's
over.
4th downs, whatever. They just go.
Tyreek Hill was handcuffed
Whoops.
and detained and put
And
face first on the ground
Apparently,
at a
Calais
traffic spot.
Campbell was
A
Yes.
traffic
handcuffed
stop.
there too.
Calais Campbell tried to de-escalate the situation. He was handcuffed as well.
They didn't get him to the ground.
The police department down there's already taken action It seems like it was excessive. Who knows what happened?
We'll see. I'm assuming at some point here some body cam footage and see exactly what happened.
They're going through that. But as soon as that happened, I loaded up on Tyreek Hill touchdown.
Yeah, I was going to say the important thing, he was able to come back in time to get an 80-yard touchdown for my team.
Yeah.
And so that was good.
And Tyreek, here's the deal with Tyreek. I thought he was good on the podium after the game. I didn't think he was great on the field after the game in the interviews you saw. I think someone finally got
about his celebration.
Yeah, where he was handcuffed.
It's celebration. You can't stop him from doing whatever.
The Jags fumble the ball into the end zone when a scoring opportunity, and then the Dolphins should have right around and hit that 80-yard touchdown. The Jags had that game won.
And then
they pissed it away.
To the point of maybe getting aggressive.
Yeah.
They got a little too aggressive at their own 30 or
Right.
something. They were winning the game.
Now,
territory, yeah.
I mean,
this is a team, another team, two teams the Chiefs will face. The Saints beat the Panthers 47-10, and this is not because the Saints are now a Super Bowl contender.
Derek Carr looked like an MVP.
The Panthers.
He did look all right, though.
The Panthers might be on their way to 0-17.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's the worst franchise and the worst. Just watching a good chunk of that game, it appears to be one of the worst teams I've seen in the NFL in recent years.
And they had the number one quarterback in the draft 2 years ago. They could have taken C.J. Stroud, didn't. They took Bryce Young, went with him. He was bad last year, played the whole time, damaged himself probably with you're playing.
Yeah, he's wrecked.
And then they still could have gone away from this year. But the good news for them, I guess, is now you figured it out probably, and he's not going to be getting a contract or whatever. You need to move on from that. Their ownership is terrible.
Hey, there's a lot of really smart people in football. There's also some dummies
absolutely
in there. That was stupid. You know what else was stupid? And we said it the moment it happened. Giving a whole bunch of money to Daniel Jones. And now the Giants, you're in quarterback jail.
Yeah.
And now this guy's walking out of the stadium to the parking lot, getting screamed at by Giants fans, being called Danny Pennies instead of Danny Dimes. Another guy is asking him to loan him $1 million.
Yeah.
Other people are booing him.
It's hard.
I mean, they're terrible.
Yeah.
And he's terrible. The Raiders and the Chargers won 22-10, and there were 7 or 8 fights in and out of the stadium
on the
between
field.
Chargers
On the field.
and between Raiders fans.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people getting
out.
bloodied
Yes.
and knocked out or whatever else.
Brutal.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Raiders and Chargers, man.
L.A. What the hell's wrong with L.A.?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
The
a
Chargers
micro,
And the funny,
it's like a microcosm
the
of
thing
that
is,
city.
like L.A., in a lot of ways, it's still kind of a Raiders town. It's not a Chargers town, and there's lots of Raiders fans there. You couldn't pay me to go sit in the stands for Raiders-Chargers game.
The Chargers are going to get better and better under Harbaugh.
Yeah.
The Raiders, it's funny, they think they have things figured out, and they don't.
Well, they beat the Chiefs, remember?
Great,
Well,
and that's what they'll have to hold on to.
Thank you
for
for
years
not
and
hiring
years.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, right.
Raiders. Thank
Well,
you.
and listen, here's the thing. Gardner Minshew's fine, okay? Gardner Minshew is not going to take you to the promised land. He's just
Right.
not.
Now, here's my biggest takeaway from yesterday. Deshaun Watson is horrible, and he has the worst contract in all organized sports, and Cleveland can't get away from it. And while this is happening right in front of their faces, maybe the most impressive-looking quarterback yesterday was Baker Mayfield, a guy that they used to have, a guy that actually led them to the playoffs and got a playoff win and took the Browns to Arrowhead Stadium and really gave the Chiefs all they wanted.
Yeah, that was it was the game Henne came in.
Chad
and
Henne,
Gave the Chiefs all they wanted.
Yeah.
And it looked like the trajectory was headed in the right direction. And, and then Baker Mayfield got hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they gave up on him too quick. And
that was a timing issue. He got hurt, and
Yeah.
that was the time you're supposed to be given the contract.
And they danced with the devil and gave Deshaun Watson that contract and
Not
made
only
that trade.
the trade is
It's a terrible trade. It's a terrible contract. He looks like a terrible quarterback. He looks like a guy that will never get back to what he was before his lengthy absence from the field.
what's his cap number next year? It's like
$72 million?
and
So it's
for the next
170 for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
170 over the
But
next
he's
3
he's
years.
not even good. He's terrible.
He's got
But
his contract is like one of the worst Major League Baseball contracts. You get
You
those
have to
contracts
see
that are guaranteed
that.
like that. It's unbelievable.
You have to see that. If you're a Browns fan, you have to watch that while at the same time Baker Mayfield's throwing for 289 and 4 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield was good last year.
They
and
went to the
leading
playoffs
Tampa to the playoffs.
and won a playoff game last year.
And he looks, and they got good weapons around him, but just watching him with tremendous confidence, just slinging the football, and the Commanders aren't very good, but slinging the football all over the field, and you're thinking, hey, Cleveland, you had that, now you got this. Good luck. So Cleveland looks like they're going to be a disaster. And then last night, what a fun game to watch between the Rams and the Lions. And it's funny, he's probably gonna have to go to the Super Bowl to get the credit he deserves. But when we were talking about best coaches in the NFL last week, nobody said Dan Campbell. And I think for the job that he's done, turning a perennial loser in Detroit into a team that now has Super Bowl expectations, a team that had a lead at halftime of the NFC Championship game last year.
Had that thing locked up, just didn't finish it.
I mean, look at the way they play. They've got an identity. And they love to go for it on 4th down. They're a fun team to watch. And guess what? When Jared Goff went to Detroit, did you think he was going to be a Pro Bowl level quarterback? No, I didn't.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And
but all these things they do, yeah, they bite kneecaps. But they've turned Jared Goff into a better quarterback than he was. Because in that trade, they were just getting rid of Stafford, and they're going to do something with Goff. No, they've turned Goff into a franchise quarterback.
It was a dominant overtime, just run.
Oh, they went right down the field
run,
with David Montgomery.
run.
But that's a fun team to watch.
And they won by 6, not 3.
Revisit that.
Jake.
Tua. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
And then you see
saved my weekend.
If the kid can stay healthy, and I feel bad about not drafting him in my fantasy league, Jameson Williams has all that talent in the world, 5 for 121 and a touchdown. He gives them that element of big play, along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh boy. And Sam Laporta he's probably the number 2 fantasy tight end next to Kelsey, right? And that 1-2 running back punch of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Saw it last night in overtime.
Excellent.
7 of the 8 plays were runs.
And I root for him even more. Ennis Rakestraw Jr.
Ennis.
I love it. That was a great game last night. And tonight, we're going to get to see – I don't root for the 49ers very much at all.
Tonight
but
you
I
do.
just hope they absolutely humiliate Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And they might not.
What if,
but I hope
what
they
if
do.
Aaron Rodgers plays a whole game?
That'd be great.
That'd be
it'd be more than he did last year.
What if he plays a quarter?
Yeah, it'd be more than he did last year.
Jets plus 3.5, baby.
Yeah.
Are you on that?
I'm about to get
Would
on
you
it.
take a pause,
No.
please?
Go Niners.
I gotta build that bankroll back up.
We'll be right back after this with Pete
leveled
Sweeney
it.
on Sports Radio 810 WHB.